In this week's Manhwa Variety Pack, I have modern action, murum, and alternate history ones to enjoy. Manhwa titles are timestamped in video for your convenience. Our first manhwa for this week is Huashan Sect's Greatest Genius of All Time, a murum manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 64 on. Its main character is Baek Eun-ho, a third-generation disciple who is widely known to have no talent and is looked down upon in the Manhwa sect. For those unaware, Hwashan is another name for Manhwa, a popular martial arts sect in murum settings. Anyway, to get back on track, Eun-ho, one day, starts dreaming about a master of Manhwa from the distant past, and he then starts training with him while he sleeps. At first, he thought it was just coincidence, but as time went on, it clearly wasn't. Utilizing these sessions as best as he can, Eun-ho slowly gets stronger and stronger, and alongside with it gets entangled in all manner of situations within both Manhwa and the murum world in general. The story is 8 out of 10. Manhwas focusing on a particular sect and even Manhwa at that is somewhat common. Instead of being jumped right into the frying pan, we instead get to see the internal conflicts within the sect itself, before slowly exploring the world and current state of murum. An overall fast pace with some time skips here and there, it gives enough time for a believable growth for the main character. The characters are 9 out of 10. Having the fortuitous encounter is one thing, but utilizing it is something else completely. Knowing his past where he was powerless, Eun-ho's earnest attitude to take everything he can to grow stronger is commendable. The other characters that in some cases surprisingly become part of the crew are sufficient and provide more motivation or challenge to Eun-ho as he explores the world. The art is 8 out of 10. Compared to other murum titles, this work puts a little bit more emphasis on the martial arts aspect that this genre can show. There is less intense action overall, but there are still tense situations that Eun-ho has to face even given his increasing experience at the hands of his martial dream master. So if you enjoy murum manhwas with a setting centered around Hwashan or Manhwa like the genius swordsman of Manhwa, or you enjoy dream masters giving teachings to youngins like the masters have subscribed from my previous videos, then please give Hwashan Sect's Greatest Genius of All Time a chance. This next manhwa to take a look at is Secret Family, a modern drama manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 39 on. The protagonist of this title is Kang-gun, a North Korean spy that was extensively trained and rated highly in a multitude of categories. He, alongside 2 other comrades, gets deployed to South Korea to infiltrate and become one of the high-ranking people of South Korean society. Taking his training and mission quite seriously, Kang-gun starts his infiltration as a high school student? North Korean spy posing as a student to get closer to the children of high-ranking individuals of the country. It's an interesting start for sure, but there is clearly more mysteries to be solved for both Kang-gun and the readers. The story is 8 out of 10. A young spy infiltrating the school of the young elite is definitely one way to hook viewers into a manhwa. It also immerses you quite well into the whole charade of it. What actually gets me fully invested though is what happens in the future when the whole mystery behind the 2 other agents actually gets revealed, and of course they accompany Kang-gun on his mission as a family, weirdly enough. The characters are also 8 out of 10. These 2 agents are interesting, but they aren't the only characters that this manhwa introduces. The other children themselves are a curious bunch, and even between themselves have levels and social hierarchies that may, or may not, be broken into by Kang-gun's efforts overall. The art is 9 out of 10. With a serious overtone but a heavy comedic undertone, this manhwa blends the normal situations with completely overreacting spy mentality, which honestly is very amusing. At the same time though, there is enough action to be had given the situations that Kang-gun finds himself in. So if you enjoy modern manhwas with a more military personnel main character like that of Teenage Mercenary from my previous videos, but with more of a spy theme, then Secret Family could be a potential manhwa to start reading. Prison Guard Zero is the first of 2 shorter stories I have for you this week. It's a modern action manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 27 on. Han Ji-hoon is the name of its main character, and he is a newly appointed chief supervisor at Yeokcheon Prison, an isolated prison seemingly on an island, similar to Alcatraz for those familiar with that. Anyway, it's immediately teased to us that the environment of the prison is quite corrupt in favor of the prisoners, more like a select few as well. Ji-hoon is trying to find information specifically about one person in this prison named So Min-jun. As for why he's doing so, that is still quite shrouded in mystery, and we as the readers will have to piece quite a lot together to even have a chance at knowing Ji-hoon's true intentions. The potential is 8 out of 10. The lack of information at the start, but then having a slow drip feed of both the character motives, but also the role that this weirdly located prison has to the overall world, at least in this one, is at least at this point quite interesting, and we still need to learn more about Ji-hoon. And we see the majority of all of these things reveals through his eyes for the most part. The art though is 9 out of 10. Intimidating, imposing, and incredibly menacing, Ji-hoon's military background serves him extremely well in this new role of his. The fights are numerous considering the chapter count, but a little bit unbelievable for now considering how Ji-hoon is able to move after sustaining some injuries. So if you're a fan of modern action manhwas with a quite brutal and intimidating main character similar to Price of Violence from my previous videos, then make sure to bookmark Prison Guard Zero for when you want a chance at reading it. The other shorter story I have for you this week is Smiling Boxer, a modern sports manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 23 on. The focus of this plot is on Gang-chan, a young man living in the rural countryside of modern Korea who has an aspiration to become a professional boxer. As sometimes conveyed, the rural villages are mostly made up of older residents, and Gang-chan is quite the outlier. Due to a set of situations and consequences though, he meets one of the best boxers, if not the best boxer of Korea, who notices something about Gang-chan, a particular talent or potential if you may, and this is where Gang-chan's journey begins. He gets introduced to a coach, and slowly but surely, others see the seeming diamond in the rough athlete that he has the potential to be. The potential is 8 out of 10. From humble beginnings to getting thrusted into the world of boxing, Gang-chan is quite the enthusiastic fellow who has a foundational love for boxing that will clearly take him quite far. But will this stay? He clearly, as the main character, has quite the potential, but will that actually translate to performance in the ring? The art is 7 out of 10. Considering it's only been 23 chapters, this manhwa has only shown a little bit of what it can do. For now, it's just an art style that seems to heavily emphasize the moment-to-moment thinking of a boxer in the ring. At the same time, Gang-chan's own personality shines through in the art style as he's more of a happy-go-lucky and actually quite very appreciative of what he's been given the chance to do. So if you're a fan of modern sports manhwa and are a fan of boxing in general, the Smiling Boxer may just be something for you to look into. Welcome to the highlight portion of today's video. Our highlight today is Swole Joseon, which I've now read up to chapter 124 on. Info card description will have links to my original opinion. As a quick refresher, Choi Young-jik, a food nutritionist and personal trainer, somehow reincarnates as Prince Soo-young, second son of the great King Sejong. Instead of going down the historical coup d'etat route, he instead wants to live as a proper son and brother. Utilizing his knowledge of food nutrition and general fitness as a whole, a transformation of Joseon has begun. Honestly, the core of all of this is an alternate history where the family is good. King Sejong's health has heavily improved, and Prince Soo-young has succeeded the throne to his brother, who is the eldest. However, his days didn't end there, as the politics of Joseon during this time period require all of the royal family's attention. From war, negotiation, trade, and all manner of sorts of things, this Prince Soo-young is being utilized quite a bit, and honestly to the fullest. In addition, he has his own family, to the point that he actually has kids now that have the chance to give him grandkids. My previous scores for this manhwa was 9 out of 10 for story, 8 out of 10 for characters, and 7 out of 10 for art. The story stays the same at 9 out of 10, as the bodybuilding focus to help improve the forces of Joseon has very much come to fruition. There are clearly none other like it, added the alternate history portion of the various elements with Ming or China, Japan, and even the Jurchen people. We see more development towards the political landscape also, as things have moved on just from the internal Joseon affairs from the early chapters. The characters move up to a 9 out of 10, as there are a multitude of characters to enjoy here. And while yes, you can get lost or forget them overall, this manhwa actually does a very good job of reminding or at least keeping the context situation easy enough to recall what's going on there. I will say as well that Sooyoung's family is an enigma of their own. The art also goes up, but to an 8 out of 10. As if you're a fan of muscles or just working out in general, this manhwa is definitely for you. Otherwise, you can expect a fun, comedic, yet somewhat serious and entertaining art style that doesn't take itself seriously and overall just wants to put a light alternate history spin to that particular period. Swole Joseon was definitely a good find already when I first found it back then. It has somehow moved its way even higher though on my favorites list now that I've read up to chapter 124 on it. So if you enjoy alternate history manhwas similar to Black Corporation Joseon from my previous videos, it's a definite recommend from me. Would you agree or would you not? Comment down below your thoughts on this manhwa. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Write down in the comment section down below what manhwa you've been reading and I might just take a look. Till next time though, have a good read.